everyone, and welcome to Woven by Whitney. Today is our very first podcast and I'm super excited to share my finished objects and my whips. And today I don't actually have any acquisitions, but that's okay because I do have yarn coming. So grab your coffee or your tea or a snack and let's get started. So for my first finished object, I have the No Frills sweater. If I can figure out how to do this whole editing thing, I will add a picture on the side. So before I show you, I do just want to say that this is my first ever knitted sweater. I have only ever knit socks, and I have only completed that can be worn 3 pairs of socks. So this was definitely a learning experience with yarn, but also with technique. Here you can already see that I obviously did something wrong, but that's okay because I actually will not be wearing this sweater. It was just a test knit for me to see if it was something I was able to do. I have been crocheting for like 10 years, and knitting, I learned in high school in art class to knit a scarf, but I never picked it up. I was usually just crocheting, and so I have been watching knitting podcasts and following a couple people on Instagram who knit, and it just sparked something in me, so I decided to start knitting for myself. And well, technically not knitting for myself because I have knit, out of the 3 pairs of socks, 2 were basically gift knits, so we do have that. Also, I do just want to go ahead and apologize. If you have a gaming husband and children, you understand, but if you don't, I apologize that you may hear children or my husband in the background. I hope it's not too much of a distraction, but it's okay. So I knit this with Sandnes Garn, the Tynn silk mohair, and Sunday in Sandnes Garn. This one is, I'm also still learning about yarns, so if you are an expert in that, just comment some things below if I happen to be incorrect. But this is what I knit it with, and the color for the silk mohair is 3021. So this is what I knit it with, and feeling it is I was so surprised with how soft it was. What I wasn't prepared for was that after I made the garment and I put it on, it's so itchy. I have very sensitive skin and this is so itchy to me. I even tried putting on a long sleeve underneath it and I could still just feel it poking through. So this is why I will not be wearing this garment or using the mohair again. I will be gifting this to a friend who is a knitter, so to see if it's something that she would like. But yeah, so I finished this garment and it is quite even holding it against my chest, I can feel it pressing through my dress and it's just itchy. So it's still beautiful yarn, and I really love the quality. I just can't do the itchiness. So that is my first finished object, my first thing I made other than the 3 pairs of socks. I don't have 2 of the pairs of socks I made. The first pair I made, I had bought yarn from Arcane Fiber Works, I believe that's what it's called, and I had bought that for my first pair of socks and it went well. I really do love those socks. I still wear them today. My second pair, I had bought the yarn from Bumblebee Acres. I believe that's what it's called. In their Lord of the Rings collection that they had, and it was Bilbo Baggins. My husband's a big Lord of the Rings fan, and so I had bought that yarn and made him socks for that. And from the same company, the Bumblebee Acres. I'm so sorry. I will leave it down in the description below of where I did get my sock yarn from. I had gotten from their ACOTAR collection. I am a huge Sarah J. Maas fan. So I made a pair for my sister-in-law. I can actually show you what the yarn looks like because I had bought the same exact yarn, and I'm currently working on teaching my sister who lives in another state how to knit. So I'm not sure if I should consider that a whip since it's something her and I are doing together, because she wants to learn to knit. Hold on just a second, please. So I will show you that during our whole whips. The second, well, they're the same thing. They're two hats. They're two beanies. I made these for myself and my husband. I actually just finished this one here yesterday, and this one I try to knit it up as quick as possible for my husband. So I don't remember exactly when I finished it. These are all within the last month and a half. My finished objects are. And for this one here, I have watched so many knitting podcasts as I go about my day, and I really like watching the twins who knit, and they talk about knitting for Olive, and so I decided to, and Coast to Coast. I plan on getting my hands on a pair of not a pair, but on a skein of Coast to Coast yarn, hopefully soon. But they had mentioned knitting for Olive, and so I just went ahead and took the plunge and bought this knitting for Olive yarn in the color Midnight in the soft silk, mohair, and merino, and made this beanie. I believe it's beanie number 2 by My Favorite Thing Knitwear. So I made this one for him, and I'm still learning the decrease stitches and things like that, but my husband absolutely loves it. And then I decided to make myself one. Still kind of struggling a bit with the decreases, but that's okay. And this is also the knitting for Olive soft silk, mohair, and merino in Marzipan. I still have to weave in my ends. I just tucked it in so I could have it for this video. But yeah, I really do enjoy the ideas of like knitting like my own garments, and so the knit one purl one is, it's quite tedious in my opinion. As you can tell, the stitches aren't consistent like you would see as like a more someone who's been knitting longer than I have, or someone who uses a machine to make their hats. But I actually kind of like the idea of it not being so uniform so that you can tell it is handmade. So that is my second, well, my third, basically my third finished object, and that is my last finished object. Also, I apologize, my chair is so squeaky, but I love the green, it's so cute. So yeah, Now we can go on to my whips. I'll go ahead and show you the yarn from the Bumblebee Acres Throne of Glass collection that they did. This one is, I believe this one was Velaris. I believe that's what it's called. Super beautiful. And this is how far I'm on my sock. We are following the Crazy Sock Ladies patterns. But I kind of like, my sister is struggling with understanding the Crazy Sock Ladies patterns, and since I've literally watched the videos like 14 times whenever I was first knitting my very first sock, I've been able to make little snippet videos for her to change it to kind of like her lingo or a way that she would understand for her sock knitting. And I know that she also bought her yarn from Arcane Fiberworks, and I believe it was in their coffee shade. But this is how far I am, and I'm just waiting for her to catch up. She's currently getting wedding photos done today, so congrats to you, Tori, if you're watching. I'm sad I couldn't be there. My husband had ACL and meniscus reconstruction surgery, so we are currently dealing with physical therapy and post-op appointments. My next whip that is a gift knit for my nephew was my first color work that I've ever done. What was I thinking of doing color work so early in my knitting journey? I have no idea, but I thought it was so cute, and his birthday is after Christmas, so I wanted to be able to make him something that I had enough time to make and something that I know he could wear and keep in like a keepsake box so he can pass it on to his children if he chooses to have any. And I know there are quite a bit of mistakes in this, but it's beautiful to me. I love it. Like, obviously my tension for the color work needs work. I haven't blocked this or anything. I just finished this sleeve here and I have one more to go, but holy cow, I had to take a break from knitting for like a couple days because the pain in my elbow from knitting the sleeve was horrible. So I'm just gonna take my time. I have plenty of time, a little over a month, to do a couple rounds for this. I believe this is knitting for Olive, the tractor sweater pattern, and they have it on their website. And this is heavy merino in dark moose and rainy day. I have some notes sitting over here on my little table so that I can try to give you as much information. If I happen to miss anything, I'll just put it down in the description box. But so far, this is what I have. We've got the front and back. I really love how cute it is. I was slightly worried because you can add on the yarn whenever you're on the Knitting for Olive website. When you buy the pattern, you can say I want to add in the yarn for it as well, and you can pick like what age you're knitting for. And so I did for 2 years old because my nephew's a little chunky baby. And this gray color here, rainy day, looks so much lighter on the website. And so when I was knitting, I was like, oh my goodness, you're not gonna be able to see the tractor at all. Like, I'm doing all this work and you're not even gonna be able to see the tractor, but you can, and I love it. So I will finish up my last sleeve and block it out, and his birthday gift will be all ready. It's so cute. Alrighty, and my last this would have been an acquisition, but because my husband is on leave for his ACL and meniscus surgery, we have been staying up so late, like 2 and 3 in the morning, just reading. I also am a writer, so last night I stayed up until like 3 a.m. writing, but that's okay. And then at one point I was like, okay, I need to take a break from writing. What can I do? And I've really been wanting to start the Monday sweater by Petite, and so that's what I did. I cast it on with, oh my goodness, doesn't it drive you crazy whenever your yarn gets wrapped up in your stitch marker? It drives me nuts. Anyways, what I will be using for my Monday sweater, this is as far as I've gotten, that's all. And it's 10 rows. I think I've only done literally 10 rows of the collar. I believe it's the double collar. So I've never actually done it before, but I'll watch the videos that she provides on her website and see. I also believe the no frills sweater is from Petite Knit too. Hopefully I'm right. If I'm not, I apologize and I'll correct it in the description. But this, compared to the Sandnes Garn, is so soft. Like, I can rub it on my face and I know that it is going to feel fine on my body, compared to the no frills sweater that irritates my skin so bad. But this is also Knitting for Olive in Dusty Olive. Right? Yeah. And so hopefully in my next podcast I will have this complete. And while I'm literally knitting, I watch other people's podcasts. I forgot their names, but they're twin sisters, and then they have another sister, and they do almost like competitions, if you will, like challenges of knitting a sweater in 7 days and things like that. And they recently started another sweater, I believe it's by Petite Knit too, and it's this cute like basket weave pattern. It's like, I'm so horrible at describing, but yeah. And I just watch their videos and I watch other podcasters while I knit, because I am a stay-at-home mom. My kids are homeschooled, and I have found knitting to be one of the best hobbies. I have tried crocheting garments for my daughter, and what I was missing from the crochet garments was exactly what I found in the knitting garments, like how close the stitches are without like having to use an itty bitty tiny crochet hook. I still absolutely love crocheting, and there will most likely be crochet on my channel as well as sewing. I do sew a little bit. I haven't sewn, oh, that's a lie. I was gonna say I haven't sewn garments, but I have made bell bottoms for my daughter for her birthday. So I have sewn bell bottoms. I haven't sewn like a dress or anything like that, but following the twins who knit, they sew some really cute things. And my goal is to have a wardrobe minus like jeans, all handmade or sewn by me. Like, if I could have knit this, I would have been so proud of myself. But I did just buy this from like Walmart, but it's okay. So yeah, if you are a knitter, a crocheter, a crafter, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I am a beginner, so if you have been knitting and you know all the secrets. I have no issue with you commenting them and sharing them with me. So that is the end of my knitting, and feel free to go ahead and exit out of the video or stay and get to know me a little bit. So I'm not going to share too much, but just so that you know who I am and we can become friends. I did just want to share a little bit about myself. I am 26 years old, married, and have 2 children. We live in northern New York, so that's why the winter knitting has me pumped. I am so ready. I recently just seen a video on YouTube of someone who just posted their like Christmas wish list of knitting, like what they plan on knitting for the colder months, and I need to go check that out. I need to watch it while I'm knitting my Monday sweater, because it's already cold here in the 40s, in the I think the highest will be like 50 degrees. It's already cold here in northern New York, and it is said that it might start snowing at the end of next week, so I'm so excited. I'm not originally from New York. I am from Alabama. My husband's from New York, and we are currently stationed here. My husband's in the military, and we were blessed enough to be able to request the military base that's in New York to be able to stay close to his family, who we absolutely love and adore. So yeah, I would love to become friends. If you just want to say hi in the comments,